Hi guys, Andy Henderson, live from Forward Thinking. I am your Sherpa guide. Hope you're all well, hope you've had a nice weekend. Today's episode is Sherpa Guidance episode 46, how to create certainty in a world full of uncertainty. And before I get into that, you know by now I'm on a mission to impact the lives of many people, business owners, career people and human beings want to get healthy in terms of body and mind as well. We want to impact 1 million people's lives over the next 10 years. So that's what we're set up to do. That's what the Forward Thinking movement's all about. It's about helping others achieve success and help impact their lives positively through the Success GPS program. So it's really nice to be here. So how do we address that? How do we create certainty in a world full of uncertainty? Well, it's got to be difficult, right, that, because when we look around us now, there's so much going on. Government, who to trust, the media, who to trust, the pandemic, what's going on, how's it going to affect our business, how's it going to affect our lives, and if we're not careful, we could just be, you can get paralysed by indecision, you can get paralysed by fear. So how can we create certainty when everything's so uncertain? Well, I think the first thing to acknowledge is the fact that uncertainty comes from the outside world. It comes from what's going on outside of our environment. Things that typically we can't control, things that typically we can't influence so much, but things nevertheless that worry us. And my own take on this is the only way to create certainty in a world full of uncertainty is to look within for the answers. Certainty comes from inside, and it's an innate human need. We all need to feel certain because certainty is comfortable, certainty is knowledge, certainty is knowing what's happening and being maybe the master of what we create. And if that's the case, then that certainty has to come from within. So ignoring what's going on outside, ignoring the things or reducing our focus on the things that we can't control, because the more focus you put on stuff that you can't control, the more energy goes in that direction and it creates more uncertainty. And as humans, our radar's always up, scanning the horizon for stuff, for trying to find certainty, trying to watch out for uncertainty, trying to search for stuff, search for answers, search for the truth, search for the next big thing for us, search for the golden goose that's laying a golden egg. We want to calm that radar down. Actually, we want to point it inside, because it's the inside, asking ourselves questions inside actually creates certainty in our world. And when we're talking about humans, we're talking about business people, we're talking about career people, we're talking about human beings in general who want to get maybe physically fitter as well as, maybe boost their career options or maybe increase the performance of their business. How do we do that when everything's so uncertain? Well, if the answers start from within, if we stop thinking about what's going on so much outside, it puts us back in control, because through our filters and our lenses, we create meaning from all this external stimuli. And, depending on, our background, our experiences, our emotional status, those different things can have different meanings to us. Some of which are alarming to us, some of which are not, some of which are comforting. But the point I'm trying to make is, we've got a choice. We've got a choice to feel uncertain, and we've got a choice to feel certain. But if we look within and create our own certainty about the future, that's got to be a key thing. And if we're going to create our own certainty about the future, where does that start? Well, I'm going to go through this in a bit more detail on Wednesday. But to create our own future from inside, our own certainty from inside, what we've got to do is we've got to think about our vision of where we want to be in the future. And that's paying into, thinking about what's going on in the world right now. It's actually thinking about ignoring that stuff, because we can't influence it, we can't control it. The less we know about it, if you just turn off the news and stop listening to the media, nothing's actually going on. Or so it feels like, if you just ignore it and carve your own way. So this is about creating your own future, creating your own compelling vision of your future. Hi Dan, hi Sarah. Creating certainty from within by creating an external compelling vision of our own future. Where is it we want to be in the future? How are we going to get there? What's it going to be like when we arrive? Why do we want to go there? Why do we want to become that person? Why do we want to be in that place? That's the first question. Because we're certain that that's where we want to be. So let's create certainty by creating a compelling vision of our future where we want to be. We're certain about that. We're certain about where we want to be in the future. What's our life going to be like at the top of the mountain? And, you know, what's it going to feel like when we get there? So let's create that certainty by externalizing and creating that compelling vision of our future. And I'm not just talking about a week's time or a month's time. I'm talking about 5 years or 10 years' time. And then what we need to do is we need to create the action steps that we need to take to get to that life, to get to that position that we want to be in the future. And if we ask ourselves internally, what are those action steps to get to that compelling future? Well, then we're certain that those action steps that we've created, that we know are going to help us get there, are going to help us get us there with more certainty, aren't they? That's got to be true. A compelling vision of the future, ours, that we want to be, that we want to get to in the future, and create the action steps to get there in order that we can be certain that if we take these action steps, we are going to get to that point in our lives in the future. And yeah, okay, there are going to be some external influences. There's going to be things trying to knock us off track. But if we're certain we're going in the right direction and we're certain we're taking the right steps to get there, then we're increasing our levels of certainty and therefore comfort, and therefore we're hanging on to something that we know is right because the answers are coming from inside. Because certainty doesn't come from the outside world, it comes from within us. It comes from our beliefs, it comes from our rules and our experiences and our past and, you know, our filters and lenses, and it's where the meaning is attributed to, you know, for all these things that we've learned in the past. And if we ask ourselves the internal questions to create our external reality, our compelling vision of the future, our plan to get there, understanding where we are now and where we want to be and all those action steps to get to the place we want to be in the future, that will create certainty. So if you're feeling uncertain about the future, create your own reality. Live by design. Create your life or your business or your career by design. Design it yourself. And by designing who we want to become, the place we want to be in the future, the action steps we need to take to get there, it creates certainty, it creates self-belief, it creates confidence in that journey. And you know what? It makes it even more difficult for anything externally to knock us off course. Because we're on a railroad. We're on a railroad going where we want to be. And that certainty is so powerful. We're certain we're going to get there. Yeah, okay, we might have to reroute every now and again, but that's okay. As long as we're open to being rerouted, to avoid big obstacles, or better prepare for big obstacles, that's okay. Because if we're okay with being uncertain, that is also another sign of certainty that we're craving. So I think one of the key things is that certainty is not found on the outside. In an uncertain world, certainty, I've got it down here, I wrote it down because it was a profound statement. Certainty is found in your willingness to trust yourself and your deliberate and active role in taking 100% responsibility for your thoughts, actions and outcomes. If you invest in being the best you can be, living your life in your meaningful purpose, the uncertain world has less impact. So if you invest in being the best you can be, living your life in your meaningful purpose, your meaningful path to get to where you want to be, the uncertain world has less impact. So what I'm talking about is, if you're uncertain about your business, if you're uncertain about your career, if you're uncertain about your health, create certainty by designing the pathway to improve. If you want to improve your business, where do you want it to be? What do you want your business to look like in the future? Reverse engineer that to today. What are the things you need to do to build that business? If you're uncertain in your career, do something about it. If you don't like your career, do something about it. If you don't like your boss or your job, let's do something about it. Life by design. And you write down life by design, pump. That's what we're doing. You know, all the forward thinkers in the forward thinking community are designing their lives themselves to create certainty, to create their own path to where they want to be in the future. And that is so powerful. We're not letting external influences dictate to us who we can and can't be. We're living our life by design, creating our business by design, creating our careers by design, getting physically healthier, mentally healthier by design. If you do it by design and focus with discipline and intent, you'll get there. yes, there might be a bit of a reroute, but that's okay, because it's not rerouting you. If you're going to London, it's not rerouting you to Manchester. It's just rerouting you around the obstacle. But that's okay, because we're living our life by design. Anyway, that's all from me. I'm about to start waffling a bit there, but that's how we create certainty in an uncertain world. Life by design, business by design, career by design, health by design. Take control. Find out what's going on here. Ask questions inside you, not the outside world, because they won't answer you. You know, ask yourself the right questions, you'll get the right answers, and you'll start moving forward to a place you want to be, creating certainty in every step you walk. Because if you're creating your life by design, or your business by design, or your career by design, certainty comes by default. So that was Sherpa Guidance episode 46. Hope you understood it. The answers are inside, not outside. Turn your external radar off and point it inside. Ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I truly want? Where do I truly want to be in the future? And how do I design my life to get to that place? How do I design my business or my career to get to that place? So that's all from me, Andy Henderson from Forward Thinking. I'm your Sherpa Guide. This was Sherpa Guidance episode 46. And just remember, guys, you're just one step away.